Oops.
Hey, it's Janelle Waz, and welcome to 2026. You know those memories that keep you up at night? Those little embarrassing moments from 15 years ago we totally forgot about until we randomly remember them and relive the embarrassment? Well, good news! Your minor embarrassments are nothing compared to the oopsies of Star Trek. Exploring strange new worlds, seeking out new life and new civilizations to boldly screw up like no one screwed up before. It turns out that the people of the future aren't so different from us after all.
Behold! It was a mistake.
Oopsie.
Science projects, technology turning against you, questionable romantic decisions, terrible diplomacy, waking people up from a nap. Listen, you might have accidentally called your teacher mom that one time, but at least your science project didn't almost eat the Enterprise. So let's ring in 2026 with 10 of the biggest oopsies of Star Trek. Not an exhaustive list, to be sure, and in no particular order.
I think I've made a horrible mistake.
But before I go further, thanks for checking out my video. Make sure you like and subscribe for more of my Star Trek, video game, and other miscellaneous content. Keep those hailing frequencies open on the other social media sites, and a big thank you to my channel members for supporting the channel. If you'd like to buy me a cup of tea and support my work, consider joining up on my channel. Be great to have you aboard.
In the Holmesian style, create a mystery to confound data.
Ever get together with buddies for a nice co-op game, only for the game's mods to kidnap one of your buddies and have the ability to destroy your house? Well, that's basically what happens in the next-gen episode, Elementary Dear Data.
It's elementary, dear Data.
Yep, what started off as a fun escapade in the holodeck between a couple of buddies turned into a deadly situation. But then again, aren't they all?
There can be no argument. The game is afoot.
Geordi invites his BFF Data to join him for a Sherlock Holmes holo program, where he plays Dr. Watson and Data plays Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's best-known character. Except Data knows just about everything about Sherlock Holmes and his mysteries, so he solves the holo program in about 2 seconds. Which greatly upsets Geordi. To be fair, he does have a history of being upset in the holodeck.
You got them all memorized.
Well, no Sherlock! So the 10-forward doctor, Dr. Pulaski, in her early season 2 face, has to point out that Data isn't human enough to solve a Sherlock Holmes mystery he hasn't read. And Geordi took that personally.
Create an adversary capable of defeating Data.
It's all fun and games until Professor Moriarty kidnaps Dr. Pulaski and becomes sentient, with the computer basing his appearance on Niles the Butler, or the captain of the Enterprise, whichever one floats your missing submarine.
And no matter what his credentials, I don't care for him wearing the uniform.
But how could this have happened? They were just playing a Sherlock Holmes game with a worthy opponent.
Worthy of Holmes.
A hologram capable of defeating the only person on board stronger than Worf. Way to go, LaForge.
I asked for a Holmes-type mystery with an opponent capable of defeating Data.
Yeah.
Well, at least Moriarty's a pleasant kidnapper.
You all right?
Yes, except for being crammed full of crumpets.
I'm a civilized abductor, Captain Picard.
Now, sure, we can argue whether it was Geordi's fault or Dr. Pulaski egging him on after a couple of drinks, but the point remains that one misspoken word caused a significant security risk on the Enterprise, and it begs the question, do we really need holodecks on the flagship of the Federation? I mean, Worf has a tough enough job maintaining security as it is.
How can a character from 1890s London draw a picture of the Enterprise?
But don't you think it's a little low-tech?
I'm a low-tech kind of guy, Dad.
Sure, Wesley Crusher, the boy wonder, may have put together science projects that almost ate the Enterprise, or even trap his own mother in an ever-shrinking universe. But his science project never kicked off 5 years of conflict and war like Jake Sisko's.
This has turned into some science project, Hanji.
Now, this is one of my Star Trek fan theories, and it's one of those theories where a lot of it's meant in jest. Except that there's a lot to back it up. Keiko O'Brien has assigned her students a science project, and young Jake Sisko wants to grow Bajoran catterpods. Beans. He's growing beans!
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Well, Dad Sisko wants son Sisko to apply himself a little more, which resulted in a trip to the Gamma Quadrant with Science Project Klingon Nog and his Uncle Quark. Which goes about as well as you'd expect. And then they're captured by the Jem'hadar, who tell Kira personally that they were the ones who destroyed a bunch of ships and colonies that mysteriously disappeared because they were trespassing in Dominion territory. And then they blew up an entire Galaxy-class starship to prove they were serious. And thus began the conflict that led to the Dominion War. And the catalyst for all of this was because the Siskos, Nog, and Quark were in the Gamma Quadrant. For Jake Sisko's science project. Don't you wish he'd just grow beans, Dad?
They're slow cooked with extra brown sugar and hickory smoked bacon, so the sauce is thicker and the flavor is richer.
And sure, the reasonable explanation is that tensions were probably already high as it was, and my theory might be a little bit of a stretch. Or that Jake Sisko's science project may have even saved the Federation by alerting them of the threat of the Dominion. But if you really think about it, the conflict with the Dominion started simply because Ben wanted Jake to apply himself. Meanwhile, the other kids probably just made a baking soda volcano.
I planted radishes in the special dirt, and they came up all weird.
The naked time is truly a germaphobe's nightmare. Oh sure, everyone remembers the space drunkenness, Nurse Chapel turning into Waxana Troy, Spock crying his eyes out, Riley singing,
I'll take you home again, Kathleen.
Kirk becoming a little too protective of the ship, shirtless Sulu running around with a sword trying to save Uhura.
I'll protect you, fair maiden.
Sorry, neither.
But we almost never talk about how everyone got space drunk. Oh my god. Oh my god, no! Why even bother with the biohazard suit at that point?
Any more soap?
That's it.
Look, I don't like the decon scenes in Enterprise, but this bozo makes a strong case for them.
Decontaminate.
Yeah, that doesn't work if the virus is already inside the suit. So Ensign Ricky released a contagious biohazard on the ship because of his sticky hands that got everyone space drunk to the point that the Enterprise completely lost control and almost crashed. Kids, don't drink and drive. And for the love of God, keep your safety gloves on!
When I feel friendship for you, I'm ashamed.
You've got to hear me.
Say, I wonder why Scotty wasn't affected by space drunkenness.
We did it, you and me.
Alright, he's probably immune to it.
Keep repeating, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Ah, the Thaw. The episode where Harry Kim is tormented by clowns in his subconscious like Bart Simpson trying to fall asleep.
Can't sleep. Clown will eat me.
And even a clown with the power to cause real-world bodily harm. But you know what the real kicker is? This was all because of one incredibly stupid suggestion from Mr. Logic himself, Tuvok. Voyager happens upon an abandoned colony, but not so abandoned as part of its population has been put into deep sleep with a message saying, please don't disturb us. But because they were supposed to wake up 4 years ago, and because Voyager is by its very nature disturbing, Janeway gets involved and finds out that some of the sleeping people have died from extreme fear and prolonged mental stress.
It could be evidence of extreme fear.
So what do we do? Unplug them? Nah, Harry doesn't know the system well enough to safely get them out of there. Study the system and maybe find a safe way to get them out? Nah, that makes too much sense. Have Neelix cook up his Tuesday night special and gag them awake? Creative, but that's a cruel way to introduce yourself to new people.
We already have a means of communication. The 2 unoccupied pods.
Yep. Let's plug our brains into the weird clown computer.
We triggered the do not disturb sign. I don't want to set off anything worse.
Do you remember?
how does Tuvok, the crew's most logical officer, come up with that idea? And how does Janeway choose that option? Nothing to protect Harry or B'Elanna from going into the clown computer that's literally scaring people to death. I get wanting to stop and help people in trouble. Heck, that's probably why they're in Starfleet. But this was a particularly destructive oopsie that endangered the lives of 2 senior officers. Still, Janeway kind of makes up for it by scaring the crap out of the clown.
I'm afraid.
I know.
Drac.
Do you answer every distress call you pick up?
If we can.
You know, I can't figure out why I like this episode so much. The NX Enterprise has a nasty habit of picking up random hitchhikers that goes horribly, horribly wrong.
I hope you're aware that most likely you'll never see your captain or engineer again.
In Desert Crossing, Archer is planning his vacation on Risa when the Enterprise answers a distress call from Mr. Krabs himself.
Be sure to thank Mr. Tucker for his time.
Yes, hello. I was wondering if you could play that song again.
It's been a long road.
They fix up his ship, get invited to his house for a little fine dining, some shirtless desert lacrosse, and a little hostage situation. It turns out that Zabral Krabs leads a terrorist cell and lured Archer and Trip down to the planet to fight in his little war. So then Archer and Trip decide to go for broke and take their chances out in the desert. Not to mention getting burnt to a crisp. Also, the planet's chancellor thinks the Enterprise is actually helping Zabral, not that Zabral actually took their captain and chief engineer hostage.
We get invited to dinner, and before you know it, we're accused of taking sides in a war.
Oh yeah, and then it turns out that Zabral only enlisted their help because he heard an exaggerated story about the time Archer released a bunch of prisoners from Al.
Sam, what are you gonna do with that pie, Sam? You wouldn't.
Come for the shirtless lacrosse, stay for the war and hostage situation. Now, to be fair here, Enterprise was a prequel series, so it makes sense that we would see someone take advantage of Archer's kindness and naivete. Nevertheless, going to some random stranger's house, let alone picking up hitchhikers, isn't wise even today because, well...
You'll never see your captain or engineer again.
But at least we got this totally necessary scene.
Bajoran workers, your attention, please.
You know how Jake Sisko's science project basically started the Dominion War? Well, this time, his dinner time almost blew up the entire station. Okay, that's probably an exaggeration. If anything, it's the Chief's fault.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
DS9 saw young Jake Sisko as a normal kid growing up on the station, from looking for friends while attending school to finding his love of writing. But early in the show's run, Dad Sisko wanted to make sure that Jake had knowledge on a variety of subjects, whether it was studying Klingon opera or shadowing Chief O'Brien in his engineering duties. And during one of those shadow days, the Chief and the Sisko kid are busy cleaning out old files when Ben goes to bring Jake home for dinner. But before you go, there's one stubborn file that just won't delete.
The file has no name, no indication what it is. I better set it aside for now.
A few moments later.
Security countermeasures initiated.
What the hell?
Yep, Chief O'Brien messing with that one file triggered the station's insurgency subroutine from the time the Cardassians controlled the station, prompting the station to go into lockdown, lock officers out of their computers, even call Ducat so he can personally stop by the station to gloat. And then get stuck there like everyone else.
Your attempt to escape is no doubt a final act of cowardice.
Not to mention, he sustained some pretty severe Garrick burns.
She's much too busy trying to save this station to be impressed with your incessant posturing.
Garrick!
Oh yeah, and Quark and Odo are trapped in the security office.
And now, your integrity is going to get us both killed. I hope you're happy.
And all because Chief O'Brien and Jake had to clear out the files from the computer. Look, I understand clearing out your hard drive, but unless it's taking up a lot of space, just leave it alone until after dinner.
Kelp buds, plankton loaf, and sea berries.
When you've deleted all those files, I'll show you how to download the new operating system.
If anything happens to Porthos, I'll be the one watering their Alvira trees.
'Tis better to be pissed off than pissed on. In this case, that time Captain Archer tried to negotiate a deal for some crucial ship parts and caused an interstellar incident by bringing his dog Porthos down to the planet, who then pisses everyone off. Literally.
I'll soak an oak, I'll splash an ash, I'll do it on a peach or cherry.
Well, Porthos may not have done it on a Christmas tree, but he did water the Cretaceans' sacred Alvira trees, deeply and gravely offending them. Yes, this is the MacGuffin of the episode. And then after peeing on the trees, Porthos picked up a potentially life-threatening virus, leading to a very sleepless night in sickbay as Archer finds Phlox doing his nightly hygiene routine, doing origami, chasing a bat, and pointing out that Archer might have a thing for T'Pol.
I haven't slept very much, but I'm doing the best I can.
Oh, but don't worry, the Enterprise gets their plasma injectors all right, because even though he was mad that they might have placed Porthos in danger by not reviewing his medical data, Archer apologizes to the Cretaceans. With some shirtless lumberjacking. They take that man's shirt off a lot in this show.
So you managed to get your shirt off?
Now, I get it. I have 2 dogs myself, but even I will acknowledge that bringing Porthos down to a planet for tense negotiations, especially with people you previously offended by simply eating in front of them, probably wasn't the best decision. On the other hand, there is a dog's life in the balance.
You know, this isn't some guinea pig you're working on here. This is Porthos, my beagle, my pal.
Once every 14 hours, Thomas Eugene Paris will relive the last moments of his victim's life.
Tom Paris was always the bad boy of Voyager. And not just because Janeway sprung him out of prison. Constantly getting into trouble, fighting with Neelix because he was too nice to Cass, even turning into a lizard, kidnapping Janeway and having lizard babies.
What makes you think it was your idea?
But if almost entering into an affair with a married woman on a planet he was passing by wasn't bad enough, he gets convicted of murder and forced to relive his lady friend's husband's final moments via brain implant that's slowly killing him.
Lieutenant Paris has gotten himself into trouble.
Boy, that's an understatement. But with Detective Tuvok on the case, he discovers that Tom was just a patsy. Turns out he was given a Mickey, passed out, and the real killer is the doctor who implanted the implants into Tom. And the wife was involved in a conspiracy to steal her husband's top secret weapon. And they were all betrayed by the puppy who barks at everyone except those she knows.
Oh, come on now, Nika, stop that racket. They're friends.
Now, for a while, Tom was an alien girl at every spaceport kind of lad, but even early in the show, come on, Tom, strange women you just met carrying suspicious cups of tea is no foundation for a relationship. Not to mention, you just held up your crew's 75-year journey to get home.
He lied to me, Tom. No one was supposed to get hurt.
Help me, Johnny! I didn't do it, I swear!
What's Lieutenant Yar's condition?
She's dead.
And the award for most preventable death goes to Tasha Yar!
You are here now watching this image of me because I've died.
Now, truth be told, I was never a huge fan of Tasha, probably because she's only in the first season of TNG, which I consider to be the worst season of the show. But that being said, there was potential for the character to develop into a fully fleshed out character as the show went on, like the other characters. However, Denise Crosby wanted to leave the show to pursue other opportunities, and rather than simply transferring Tasha to another ship, the writers killed her off in the stupidest way possible in Skin of Evil. A shuttle carrying Troy crashes on a planet home to Armus. Basically a giant oil spill. A giant evil oil spill, who taunts Deanna in the crashed shuttle. Yeah, apparently some other planet decided to get rid of all their negative traits and dump them all on this planet like some sentient EPA nightmare that got a hold of Riker.
There is something got me!
Get this man some Dawn soap, stat!
He slimed me. That's great! Actual physical contact!
So the away team tries negotiating with the deranged cleanup in aisle 2 to help the shuttle, but he wasn't having any of it and told them not to pass him. And then Tasha got a bright idea.
We won't hurt you, but we must help them.
Tasha, how did you expect that would turn out? Did you think Armus couldn't back up his threats and offer no resistance? I mean, he already has no concern for life. Did you really think walking past him was gonna work? Certainly this wouldn't be the last time a character death was handled poorly in the franchise, but at least later characters win out better than this. I said it before, I'm not a super big fan of Tasha Yar, but she didn't deserve that. At least yesterday's Enterprise made up for Skin of Evil.
Guinan says I died a senseless death in the other timeline. I didn't like the sound of that, Captain.
Khan is my name.
Khan, nothing else.
Khan.
Ah, Star Trek. If someone isn't activating technology that was best left turned off, they're waking up a 90s kid bent on world domination. I am, of course, talking about Khan.
We offered the world order.
The Enterprise finds a lost vessel from the 1990s, a time of boy bands, Seinfeld on TV, Frosted Tips, virtual pets both Giga and Tamagotchi, and, according to Star Trek the Original Series from the 1960s, a time of selective breeding and tyranny. In fact, the entire vessel is full of these 90s supermen who are bent on world domination. But hey, this one's hot! Let's wake him up! Yeah, probably bringing the ship's historian with a fascination for hot dictators from the 90s probably wasn't the best idea. Oh, Khan needs some reading material? Well, I'm sure all the ship's technical manuals will keep him occupied so he doesn't try to hijack the ship. Now this oopsie is a particular doozy because of the long-lasting consequences. Sure, we have Khan hijack the Enterprise with his 90s supermen, plus starstruck historian he gave a new hairstyle to, which resulted in Kirk almost decompressing.
And I need a day or two to decompress.
A fight between two stunt doubles, and Kirk smacking Khan with a plastic pipe. But after saying bye-bye-bye to Khan at the end of the episode, it wasn't the last time we saw him. For he would return 15 years later to seek revenge on Captain Kirk, which ultimately resulted in Spock's death. All because some historian had the hots for Khan and wanted to wake him up. And isn't that ironic? Don't you think?
How do we know you'll keep your word? Well, I've given you no word. Either.
And that was 10 of Star Trek's biggest oopsies. But now, what about you? What other oopsies would you like to add to this list? Be they from great episodes or not so great episodes? Which are your favorites and which are the most head-scratching? Please, leave comments below and discuss. As always, thanks for tuning in to another Star Trek video, and Happy New Year! If you like what you see, why not give my video a like and subscribe to my channel? Tell your friends! Until next time...